everybody. This is Matt Monarch with the Raw Food World TV show. And today, we're going to say it's January 9th. Since we have so many videos up here. And Angela we've been on a juice feast for how long?
Well, if it's January the 9th, then it's day 25.
Day 25. And you've been dying to get these wonderful guests on our show lately.
Mm-hmm. We have a very special guest for you today. We are speaking with the king and queen of juice feasting themselves, David and Katrina Rainoshek.
And the princess.
Oh, and the little princess.
Aww.
6 months old, Sophia.
Hello.
And we actually juice feasted in preparation for conception
Wow.
of Sophia. And after, I did 70 days, and Katrina juice feasted for like 89 days, and 4 months later we conceived.
Wow.
Yep.
Congratulations, you guys.
And there are some folks out there who are starting to do that and actually using juice feasting as a good preparation for conception, just to kind of clear everything out and to spiritually, emotionally, mentally kind of orient to allowing something new in, kind of releasing and letting something new and wonderful and amazing in.
Yay.
I bet your lives have been transformed since that wonderful, beautiful creation there.
Yes.
Yep.
More fully than you could ever understand.
Until you just do it.
Until you do it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, we thought we knew, a lot about what parenting was, and you can kind of intellectualize about it, but there's definitely something about just doing it, just like all things. But I described it as, it's like you're understanding that you are shifting all of your love, or encapsulating through your love another being, and that being is always there. And so it's like this persistent witness state, or this constant consciousness that's aware of this other being that's so close to you. And I think beyond the sleep and the diapers and, Katrina adjusting from, childbirth and all that, I think that's actually the biggest adjustment, is just the constant, persistent awareness that you are here to offer all of your love to this other person. It's a big deal. So, it's been really exciting. It is really exciting.
That's
and she's
beautiful.
She's a beauty.
She is indeed. All right. So, our intention for this interview today was, we've been juice feasting for 20-something days now, and we've just been doing green juice feasting, which we've never done before. And we wanted to speak with the Rainosheks and ask them a load of questions about juice feasting. So I put the message out there on my blog. Send us in any questions that you want to have answered by the juicy king and queen and princess. And we have about 20 questions here for you guys. So we're going to try and wriggle through them pretty quickly. All right, let's get going. This is Christina, who is a doula, and she's also a student midwife. And she says,
We love doulas.
as a result of this lifestyle, she is living life on call, which might mean she's getting calls in the middle of the night. She's all night by a labouring woman's side. When I don't have time to juice before going, and there is the possibility of me being gone for a whole day, what would be your best suggestion for juice feasting in this situation? What about taking containers of coconut water with green powder? Would that be acceptable? What about the master cleanser? Any other suggestions?
Yeah, good.
Bring your juicer and make juice for the laboring mama and have it there with her.
Nice.
Although when I was in labor, I didn't want anything, but I think it's an amazing support food for your support team while you're in labor. The midwife would probably love it as well. But yeah, you could also do things like coconut water with green powders, making juice before you go if there's any time, like even if you have time to make yourself 2 quarts, and bringing your blender, although, blending food while a woman is in labor is
You'd have
probably...
to have a room like at the end of the house or an additional house where you could do it, but you could do that. Master cleanser is good in a pinch. I don't really suggest it long term. I think we've kind of moved beyond the age of the master cleanser, because we can get all the benefits of master cleanser by doing green vegetable juice and throwing some cayenne in there. So, making your juice in a high-speed blender or doing it like in the Huron juicer, which you guys have brought to everybody's attention, is awesome. It doesn't take very long. And juice that's made and you fill it all the way up in your jar right to the top and cap that off, it'll last for like 18 hours or so. I mean, it won't be as vibrant as it was coming right out of the juicer, but it's not going to harm you. So you can make juice well in advance and keep it there in the fridge and just keep accessing that. So you should be able to work around that. But yeah, if you could bring a Vitamix and make stuff for the mama, that'd be awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right.
Yeah, bring a juicer and make juice.
Next up is Mary, and she said, what is the current protocol recommended for juice feast breaking?
Great. Green smoothies. We had prunes for a long time. Everybody saw you, Angela, break on prunes. And as wonderful as you are, the prune aspect itself, very unsexy, actually. I mean, just, soaked prunes, not terribly exciting, and higher on the glycemic index. A lot of us coming out of a juice feast wanting to be very mindful of the glycemic index of the things we take in, either just as a matter of practice or because our situation requires that. And so I like the green smoothie better, and we started looking at that with the 2008 Global Juice Feast. And green smoothie is much more sexy. You can make it as high or low in the glycemic index as you want. It's got a lot of nice fiber in it, so it accomplishes what the prunes do. But the prunes were just like blowing right out the other end for some people. It was like working too well. So low glycemic or moderate glycemic index green smoothies to break, and you could throw a couple of prunes in there if you want. It's perfect. And much, much better. And the carbohydrate goes into your system in a more even manner. And our approach on the Juice Feast is to establish the practice of doing green smoothies every day, preferably for breakfast. So it's a great way, really sexy, exciting way of breaking out and doing it in a way that you like. Because you might want kale or parsley, it may be papaya for you, whatever. So you can make the green smoothie exactly the way that you want it. So it works for everybody. So that's it. There are other aspects of the protocol, but they haven't changed. And that involves probiotics. It involves ginger and white oak bark. White oak bark's an astringent herb which shrinks down the size of the colon in any place that it's expanded too much.
You can find all that info on
and it's all on
juicefeasting.com.
juicefeasting.com. That's right.
Great. Do you want to ask a question?
How much does it cost to juice feast each day in the U.S.?
That's from Gary F.
As low as like $5 to $10 a day, and as high as $30 to $35 a day, depending on where you live, the time of year, organic or non-organic, and the type of produce that you're getting. So parsley is going to cost more per pound than spinach does. So there's a lot of variables. One thing to keep in mind, probably you're spending $15 to $20 a day on food anyway. So if it costs $25 a day to Juice Feast, that's an investment of $5 additional a day for all the benefits you get from juice feasting. So it's really inexpensive. I mean, if you ate McDonald's 3 squares a day, it'd be $5 to $6 a time. You'd be up at $18 a day on McDonald's. So $25 a day for some of the best food you've ever had. Yeah, it's totally worth it.
Nice, thank you.
How do you juice on the road?
That's from Carrie.
You need a generator and a quiet road, because if the 18-wheelers are coming by really fast, it's... Okay, in the hotel, you just set your Vitamix or your high-speed, whatever your high-speed blender is, or your Huron juicer or whatever your juicer is right there in the hotel, and you do it. Bring along a cooler, the largest cooler that you can, and keep ice in it if it's during the warm time of year, and just bring your produce. Get on Google Maps and find out where your local organic market is and get your stuff. You can juice things like frozen blueberries, frozen raspberries as part of what you do. Those are available in every grocery store everywhere in the country. And if you need to go non-organic because you're traveling and you just cannot find anything else, you're in just Podunk, USA, and there's nada and you've run out of produce, then go in and get the best non-organic produce you can find. Make a game out of it. What's the best stuff that I can extract from this grocery store in Podunk, USA? Then go for it. You shouldn't be more than a day or two from finding the best stuff possible, too. So the important thing is to keep that continuity of your juice feast going, because what you're accomplishing on a daily basis far supersedes anything that's going to happen by taking in some non-organic produce for a day.
Great. That was actually one of the other questions. What do you feel about juice feasting if you can't get good access to organic produce? So
Yeah, do non-organic.
it's great.
The health benefits that you'll get from juice feasting outweigh any amount of pesticide that you'll take in from the non-organic
Right.
produce.
Right.
And of course, organic is better.
Sure.
But I mean, when we were juice feasting, we did things with thick-skinned non-organic sometimes.
Right. Citrus was non-organic.
Oranges, grapefruit, pineapples, we would sometimes do non-organic. And it's not ideal, but it's still wonderful to be juice feasting.
Right.
So.
Sure. All right. Enough?
Are nut milks okay?
Good question. And the answer is they're not prudent on a juice feast. And the reason is because when you take in nut milk on a juice feast, it's high in fat. And when you look at different healing protocols, whether what you're doing at Hippocrates Health Institute or what you're doing at the Tree of Life Rejuvenation Center or even at Gerson Institute, others around the nation, most good healing protocols are low in fat so that your insulin resistance gets better, so that the sugars get to where they need to go more efficiently. So high fat doesn't really put you in a good cleansing physiology, and so the nut milk will do that. Also, drinking nut milk on a juice feast will cause you to develop mucus here and on down in your intestinal tract, in your colon, and you actually want to be on a mucusless diet. So nut milk doesn't do very well, and there is somebody who's using the juice feasting protocol, or has adapted it, and has used hemp seed milk, really diluted hemp milk. He's down in LA doing it, and that seems to be working okay, but I still don't advocate it. I don't advocate it,
It really
because
depends on how much you want to cleanse too,
Right.
and how quickly.
it will slow down the cleansing physiology.
You know,
Pretty significantly.
if I was to juice feast for a day right now while I'm breastfeeding, I would probably do nut milks in with the day.
Good point.
I haven't juice feasted while I'm breastfeeding because I don't feel like it's good for me to be cleansing while I'm nursing her. But perhaps, you know, in a few months I may feel differently. And if I do decide to do that, I think I would add in some nice almond milk or sesame seed milk and with my juices, just to slow the cleanse down.
But as a standard practice, as a life practice, no, nut milks are not included on juice feasting. Nor are double cheeseburgers, if that question's on there.
Actually, the breastfeeding thing was somebody else's question. I'm breastfeeding my 7-month-old. Can I juice feast? So I guess you kind of touched that a bit there as well.
Yeah.
My feeling is that because toxins do get eliminated through the breast milk, I would prefer not to. I think it is a personal choice, though. We have a friend who juice fasted while she was breastfeeding her. I think her daughter was about 18 months old at the time. She actually juice fasted there at the tree, and it was fine, although she felt like her daughter didn't respond very well to it. She felt like her daughter got crankier and more upset easily, and it wasn't the most ideal situation. So I think it's a personal choice. But just educate yourself on what it actually means to cleanse.
Yeah.
Because you are putting toxins out into your system, and you are putting breast milk into your baby. So
Yeah, and if I can add just a little aspect of this discussion, when you are pregnant, when you are breastfeeding, there's a fullness aspect that needs to be taken care of. So it's all about fullness, the fullness of pregnancy, the fullness of the breast, the fullness of the relationship with the child. Juice feasting is not so much about that kind of fullness, it's more about freedom. When you get into cleansing, it's much more about freedom than fullness, even though there's an abundance aspect to juice feasting because of the amount of juice that we're drinking and the superfoods and other things, but it's still more freedom than you really want to be involved with when you're taking care of a baby, particularly when you're breastfeeding. So, and it looks like Sophia may not be answering any more questions today, so I'm sorry for those of you who had some questions.
Do you want to ask one?
I really don't want to do the Enemas colon cleansing while juice feasting. Is there a way around this?
Uh-oh.
Is there a way around it? You can try to juice feast without doing enemas or colonics or anything. What I can tell you is, if you do that, you'll cleanse about a third the speed, that's been my experience, as when you do the colon cleansing.
And you'll feel horrible.
And you'll feel like crap. So enjoy. And I don't mean to be rude by saying that. That's just the nature of the way it is. Your body is processing a lot more than normal. It goes down into the colon, and it's a lot of stuff. So to move that out gives the message to the rest of the body that it can continue to process and move things down to the colon to move it out. If the colon gets constipated on a juice feast, it will basically send a message to the rest of your physiology that, hold on, gang, not really time yet to let anything else go. And so you will start to feel stagnation. And in the Buddhist terminology, suffering is known as dukkha, and dukkha means a wheel that is stuck. So if you are stuck, you will suffer. So again, the freedom aspect of juice feasting, you want stuff to go ahead and move on out, unstick the wheel, so to speak. And so one of the practices we have on the juice feasting program is to do enemas and or colonics to keep that wheel unstuck.
Nice. We have time for like one more question.
Sweet.
I'd like to ask this one. I'm just starting out with a raw food lifestyle. Do you think it's a good idea if I start out with a juice feast?
Sure it is. I would be looking at a shorter juice feast. It's really important when you start out with juice feasting or raw food that you feel successful, that what you're doing establishes faith in what you're doing. Everybody starts out blogging when they do their first juice feast or when they get into raw food. It doesn't have to be a public thing. You can do it really privately, just for yourself, that you feel successful at whatever level it is that you're doing it at. So don't shoot for a 92-day juice feast right away. Try a day or a weekend or a week with somebody else that you trust and that can be there with you to do it. And do it. If it's only 3 days, but you're like, I did that 3 days really well, I enjoyed it, it felt like it was really supportive of me, that's something that I want to do again, that's the point. Raw food is a life practice. Juice feasting is a life practice. And we want to protect the integrity of those life practices. So it's important to feel like it is, like it's something that is supporting you, that you feel good about. It doesn't feel like it's a struggle. So make sure that you cultivate that by not overshooting what you're capable of. And I think Sophia's over there.
Oh, hey.
Having some food.
Thanks to everyone who sent their questions in for the Rainosheks as well. That was a quick fire little run through some possibilities around juice feasting, and David and Katrina have the juicefeasting.com website if you want to check out a whole lot more information. That website is packed with information about juice feasting. Is there anything else you guys wanted to share about the site or what you're up to at the moment? Or
What we're up to, I'm coaching group juice feast right now, one-on-one coaching, but in smaller groups. Really enjoying that, and where juice feasting is going now in my practice, as far as my coaching is, juice feasting is becoming backdrop for working on things that really matter. That your health is in service to the meaning of your own life, your unique self. What is your unique perspective? What it is that you're here to do. And so the juice feast serves as context for having that discussion and doing that kind of self-inquiry. And so that's where I'm going with the coaching and with juice feasting now. And that just opens up a whole field of opportunity and possibility that isn't there when you just focus on nutrition itself. So it's very exciting.
great. Thank you.
Awesome.
Great to see you guys.
Good to see you too.
Yeah, thank you for having us on. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Absolutely. We've got,
Angela Stokes Monarch.
and we've got Mr.
David Rainoshek and Sophia Rainoshek.
Yeehaw! And Matt Monarch, and we'll see you again tomorrow at the Raw Food World TV show.
Is that good? It is really good, isn't it?
I like it.